Hello green tea lovers, this is Oliver from Neo and today I gonna present you the difference between culinary matcha and so-called ceremonial or drinking matcha. So, as a lot of things are going on in the market, people are talking about matcha. Matcha is the big hype of the 21st century, the all-around medicine, making you more active, making you more happy, making you more everything. So in matcha there is important that you understand the difference of culinary matcha and of drinking matcha. And so I brought you here now just to see on a visual aspect when you compare these two. So this is a very low-grade culinary matcha, and here you see really the intense, beautiful color of the drinking matcha. So big difference between these two. Now, before you absolutely dismiss the culinary matcha, let's have a deeper look into it. We were traveling this year, we were traveling to Shizuoka on a green tea farm where we actually could see how they plant the green tea or the matcha, and we were there for the second harvest. Important is that actually the good high quality drinking matcha is always coming from the first harvest. So here you're talking about a tea which could absorb all the minerals, all the good nutrients during the winter. The plant is ready, then they even cover it for 6 weeks. They don't see any sunlight, they even develop more chlorophyll, more greenness, more also caffeine going into the plant. So here you really have all the good things in. But this is the first harvest. Then you even have a second, a third in organic planting, maybe if you're very lucky a fourth. It really depends on the back season, because there's always a back season and they're eating away more or less one entire harvest. Often the farmer looks if the backs ate too much of the leaves, and if it's just not good quality tea anymore, they don't harvest it at all. That's why sometimes you can have more or less harvests. So actually when you have like the big first one out, then it comes in the second or the third harvest. So actually when you have also in different kinds of matcha, also in culinary different grades, it means that sometimes they mix from the first harvest and the second or the third harvest teas together. So these are actual blends. So why is actually the color coming out so different? Look at here, the green, nearly yellowish color. It's not that this is actually bad tea from bad plants, from bad fields, raised in a bad environment. It's just that these are completely different environments in terms of how the plant absorbs the nutrients. Here actually we really have the first all-encompassing, all the best nutrients in, the best cultivars as well. And here actually, or what happens with the culinary matcha is that the shading doesn't happen anymore. So normally matcha is shaded, but the culinary matcha, as far as I know, or what Mr. Masuda explained us, is that actually no shading is done with this tea, which means that already the sun seen, or the plant sees more sun. The sun is brightening up the leaves, so already you got a brighter and less intense green which will come out. Another aspect is as well that here, thanks to the shading, you have a lot of theanine in the tea developing, or like staying in the tea, while when you expose the plant to the sunlight, actually the theanine develops into catechins, and these are the bitter taste or bitter particles. So actually it can be the same plant, but the color can be very, very different. So here actually fully sun exposed, second or third harvest, here you really can have also then much more bitterness inside, while here you have a lot of fine creaminess. It depends also on the cultivar. Here we talk about a Yabukita cultivar, which is actually a standard cultivar. Here, Okumidori. Okumidori is also a lighter, lower, like more intense, darker green. Sometimes Yabukita is a little bit brighter. And we also have one matcha, which is Yabukita matcha, also ceremonial grade or drinking grade, but actually it has a brighter color due to the different cultivar. But cultivars in matcha, we will have a look at it in another time. Today we are really focusing on what's the difference between these two. And what I want to describe you as well is actually how does this affect in the taste of the matcha itself. Before we take the water, I heated it up now to 70 degrees Celsius. We just take a first try of the matcha. So we just take a small finger. A lot of creaminess, a buttery taste, very vegetable, still it's a matcha. There's a little bit of astringency in it. It's clear because now I really took directly the matcha on the tongue, but you have a lot of sweetness. There's so much butternut in this. That's what I like about this one. It's actually really round, also in the water. So this matcha is really our highest quality matcha, which we have. It's also pretty expensive. Here you talk about 40 grams, $42, or if you buy it in big quantities, you can pay per kilogram up to $500. Now, we take here the matcha, which is from Culinary grade. Here you talk about 1 kilogram, about $100 what you can get on the market. So actually you see already this is 5 times more expensive. This one is then also used more for pastry, but let's also just do the taste of with the finger. Main difference here is really straight bitterness, and it has kind of a flowery taste, like not a flour taste, but like you know, flour which you put in the dough. So it's much less intense. There's much more a kind of a powder taste, but not powder in a nice way a matcha or a drinking matcha is, but like a powder taste which is really intense in the way that you have here much more like a softer, like a flat taste, bitterness coming in, and not a lot of complexity. So here really also under the other matcha, which I still have a little bit in my mouth, it really doesn't reach any peak, doesn't give any note, so pretty flat, really astringent, which is also normal. More catechins in it, so if you want to do absolute detox, so maybe you can take this one, but I don't, I'm not a scientist in health, so this you have to see your doctor for. But this is the main difference actually between these two cultivars. And now I really want to do a tasting of these matchas. Voila, I brought the sift, then the chasem, and I just put here in the matcha. This is now a little bit of a stronger version. I would say here you talk around 2 to 3. So really bring it through the sift. What is important here, you actually kill the small balls which are forming with the humidity, which is absolutely normal, as the green tea is really an absorber of its environment, and if you stock it right, it can only absorb a little bit of humidity, nothing else. So never put also the matcha as soon as it is open in the fridge, because it will absorb the taste of the fridge. Voila. So what you can see here as well is like a really nice creamy matcha, lot of foam, pretty good, looks awesome. Also in color, I really show you the difference here. You see this intense green, it's just amazing about this matcha. So that's actually ceremonial grade. Always look out for the deep intense green color, then you have a real a real good ceremonial matcha. And now we're gonna take the other one. So this one here is now the Culinary matcha, so I'm really gonna go and drink this. Normally people don't drink this at all. What is Culinary matcha used for? As the name already implies, we are talking here about culinary creation, so actually we talk about donuts, can be cupcakes, can be cakes in general, ice cream, like really different kinds of sweets also. And why can they use this one here and not the ceremonial grade? You can absolutely use the ceremonial grade. What's happening actually is that you can, in pastries, use a little bit more stringent matcha, because then you have also sugar inside, or you sugar it with dates or maybe syrup of agave. So this is things you do, and actually this brings then down the stringency. There are also culinary matchas, for example from Mr. Masuda, where we source also culinary matcha from. They are much less intense in the stringency, so also there you can choose a little bit of a level which is not so stringent. Here we have this is now a French company, as far as I know, who may put at disposition this matcha. So you already can see it here, taste or color wise, it's really different. Same amount of matcha, but different kind of color also of the water. So let's go into the tasting, let's have a look. Here, just already on the nose, flat flour taste. Looks a little bit stale, nearly a little bit old, so really flat, nothing really complex. You got sweetness in it. You got the creaminess, sweetness. Here also, yeah, the grassiness is also coming through. Is here some grassiness in? It's a little bit like, nearly like when you smell straw, and here you really got the fresh grass. So let's try it. It's really bitter, not very pleasant, but for culinary creations it's at the lower grade, so I would definitely not use too much. Well, I had also a client that she was actually buying some culinary matcha from somebody else and from us. And what you just can see is that the stringency still gets through. So if you make culinary creations look maybe that the matcha is not too strong. Now let's have this one here. So different, so different. Creaminess over the tongue, a lot of sweetness, buttery flavor. I even got some flowers kicking in now. It's a complete different experience. So actually here you really have the catechins so dominant, and there's not other flavor profiles. So really you can see that the plant already gave kind of away its best nutrients, and it's just sucking up also additional. So it gets the taste in. You definitely have matcha taste, but so much astringency, and it's rather flat. And here you really get into complex taste profiles, which is actually what you should expect from drinking matcha, and therefore it is really good for using it as a pure with just water. Here, this one you could even add some milk, some honey maybe, or some sweetener, but still it's not the best grade. But just for you to know that actually it's not bad matcha in a way of quality, it's a later picking.